Energy balance. Energy balance is the core driver of fat loss and building muscle. So let's set the record straight. When it comes to fat loss or building muscle, energy balance is king. It's not magic, it's not metabolism, it's not your genetics, it's simple math and science. It's the law of thermodynamics. Calories in versus calories out. So, if you're not losing fat, it's because you're not in a deficit. If you're not gaining muscle, it's because you're not consuming enough calories. Period. So let's break this down so you understand it and apply it. So what is energy balance? Energy balance is really simple. It's just calories in versus calories out. So what are calories in? Calories in is everything that you eat and drink. What is calories out? Calories out is everything your body uses for energy, like movement, digestion, even breathing. Workouts, of course. When your calories in and your calories out match, you maintain your weight. That's what we call calorie maintenance. That's energy balanced. When you eat more than you burn, you gain weight. Ideally muscle if you train and eat right. When you eat less than you burn, you lose weight. Ideally you lose body fat if you eat and train smart. All right, so let's break this down. TDEE. What is TDEE? TDEE is your total daily energy expenditure. TDEE is how much energy your body burns in a day. It's the sum of four components. One is your BMR, your basal metabolic rate. That's about 60% of your total daily energy expenditure. This is the energy your body needs to stay alive, like breathing, circulation, organ functions. If you laid in bed all day long and did nothing, this is what you'd still burn. NEAT. NEAT is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. This comprises about 20% of your TDEE. This is all the movement you do that isn't formal exercise, like just walking around the house pacing, fidgeting, me doing this with my hands, standing up, sitting down, cleaning, sneezing even. NEAT plays a massive role in fat loss because it's flexible, modifiable, and it happens all day long. The next component is PAL. PAL. It's your physical activity levels. This is about 10%, and some of you it's actually less than 10%, maybe more so in the 8 to 10% range. This, your PAL, is your actual workouts. Yes, they matter, but they don't burn as many calories as most people think. Those machines are grossly inaccurate. Our watches are grossly inaccurate. You don't torch 800 calories in a 45-minute lift. Exercise is important for strength. It's important for muscle and it's important for health, but it is not the primary tool for fat loss. A lot of people mistake that. Your workouts are there to build strength and muscle. It's not there to burn calories and lose weight. So next and lastly is TEF, thermic effect of food. This is about 10% of your total daily energy expenditure. This is the calories you burn digesting food. Protein takes the most energy to break down, which is another reason why high protein diets support fat loss. Eating in itself burns calories. Crazy, right? But don't count on it to do the heavy lifting. So there you go. BMR, NEAT, PAL, and TEF. So let's bring this into practical application. How to control energy balance. Let's really simplify this. Let's say someone's TDEE, which is the sum of all those things, is 2,000 calories. You want to elicit about a 20% increase or decrease to gain or lose weight. So to maintain weight, you eat at TDEE. So for this person, you eat 2,000 calories per day. To lose fat, with smart training of course, you eat below your TDEE. That puts you in a calorie deficit. To build muscle, to gain weight, you eat above your TDEE. This is a calorie surplus. Ideally 20%. So 2,000, you maintain your weight. 1,600, you lose fat. 2,400, you gain muscle. And this is ideally, this has to be with strength and strategy. Eating food and restricting food doesn't change your body, but we'll get into that later. All right. So the further you move away from your TDEE, the more aggressive the fat loss or muscle gain. That's why small changes like cutting 100 calories don't move the needle for most people. You need a deficit large enough to elicit real adaptation, typically 20% below TDEE for fat loss, And yes, your TDE can vary. If you're at 2000, you might maintain your weight at 1900 or 2100 calories depending on your activity levels for that week, but the principle stays the same. That was just a very simplified bird's eye view of TDE for calorie burning and muscle gaining. All right, so let's break each of these activities down. BMR. BMR is your baseline burn, right? So think of your BMR as the engine that's always running. You don't have to do anything to burn these calories. It's the cost of simply staying alive. This is why you can't starve your metabolism into non-existence. Your body must burn energy to survive. But if you chronically undereat, your BMR might downregulate slightly. That's why a smart deficit, not a crash diet, is what we use inside the Vegan Strength Academy. And pro tip, the more muscle you have, the higher your BMR, meaning the more calories that you burn at rest. This is NEAT. NEAT is the super underrated fat loss weapon. It is the secret to fat loss. NEAT is massively underrated. You don't notice when it drops, but your results sure do. When you're dieting, your body subconsciously moves less to conserve energy. You stop walking as much. You stop fidgeting as much. You sit more. This is when your body is trying to survive on a calorie deficit. Our bodies like to adapt of what we force it to do. But if you don't keep your NEAT high, your calorie burn plummets and your deficit disappears. That's why we track steps. That's why we push movement. That's why you stay active beyond your workouts at the gym. POW. Don't overestimate exercise. Most people way overestimate their exercises. Exercise is super important, but it's not the magic bullet, and you can't out-train a bad diet. You've heard that cliche many times, and it's so true, and it's true because of PAL, your physical activity levels. Most people wildly overestimate how many calories they burn when they're training. They crush a spin class, and then they earn a cheat meal that wipes it all out, and then some. Your workout should be focused on performance, strength, muscle building, and consistency, not calorie burn. Use exercise to build your physique. Use diet to reveal it. All right, and lastly is TEF, thermic effect of food. Why protein matters. Digesting food burns energy, and protein takes the most to digest. That's why high protein diets help preserve muscle in a deficit. That's why they help increase satiety. That's why they help boost calorie burn slightly through digestion. It's not a huge number, but every bit counts, especially when you're trying to manage hunger and preserve muscle mass. All right, so implementation. Implementation is power. None of this matters if you don't apply it. Understanding energy balance gives you the power to lose fat by creating a meaningful, sustainable deficit. It gives you the power to build muscle by eating enough to support growth. It gives you power to stop obsessing over cardio and start focusing on habits that actually move the needle. It's not about the magic supplement. It's not about metabolic damage. It's not about the secret workout tricks. It is about controlling the inputs and monitoring your outputs. So final words is own the equation. Own TDEE. Energy balance runs the show. Hormones, metabolism, thyroid issues, all these things affect how many calories you burn, but they don't change the rules of the game. These conditions can make fat loss seem impossible, but it doesn't. It just requires a larger calorie deficit than someone without these conditions. If fat loss isn't happening, you're just not in a deficit. If you're not gaining, you're just not in a surplus. Full stop. That's it. If you take nothing away from this training, take that away from this training. Yes, thyroid issues and hormonal imbalances can make the game harder, but they don't rewrite the laws of thermodynamics, and they don't change the fact that calorie deficits work every time for everyone. So take ownership. Master your intake, know your TDEE, hit your calorie targets, monitor your outputs, control your inputs, and create the conditions for your body to change. When you understand energy balance, you stop guessing and you start getting results. Let's make this happen.